Subscribe to our channel for more gripping stories and thrilling narratives. I sat at my desk, the hum of the office around me like a distant storm. Papers were stacked high, each one a testament to the deals I'd closed. The phone rang, but I ignored it, my mind on the partner announcement tonight. My secretary, Clara, hovered nearby, her eyes sharp, her lips tight. She'd been with me for years, loyal but lately distant. I brushed it off, stress, maybe. The clock ticked closer to the evening's big moment. I adjusted my tie, feeling the weight of ambition settle in. Clara whispered something as she passed, too low to catch. I asked her to repeat it, but she just smiled thinly. The office buzzed with rumors about the promotion. My name was on everyone's lips, or so I thought. I'd worked for this, sacrificed weekends, friendships, even my health. Tonight, it would all pay off. Or so I believed. The boardroom was a cathedral of glass and steel, gleaming under fluorescent lights. I walked in, head high, shaking hands with the senior partners. Their smiles felt like currency, each one a deposit toward my future. Clara trailed behind, carrying my briefcase, her face unreadable. I caught her muttering under her breath again. "You'll regret this," she whispered, her voice like ice. I froze, but the moment passed as the CEO clapped my shoulder. The room filled with executives, their chatter a low hum of power. I scanned the agenda, my name listed for the partner announcement. Confidence surged through me, drowning out Clara's words. I'd earned this. No one could take it away. Not even her cryptic warning. The meeting began, and I leaned back, ready for my triumph. The CEO's voice boomed, outlining the firm's record-breaking year. My deals were mentioned, big wins for the company. I nodded modestly, feeling eyes on me. Clara sat in the corner, her pen scratching notes, her gaze fixed on me. I tried to ignore the unease her words had planted. "You'll regret this." Why would she say that? I'd always treated her well. Bonuses, flexible hours. Maybe she was jealous, I reasoned. The room clapped as the CEO praised my work. I smiled, but my thoughts drifted to Clara's loyalty. Had I missed something? The partner announcement was next. My pulse quickened, drowning out doubt. This was my moment. Nothing could stop me now. I glanced at Clara. She wasn't smiling. The lights dimmed for the presentation slide naming the new partner. My name flashed in bold letters, and applause erupted. I stood, grinning, shaking hands as colleagues swarmed me. The CEO's grip was firm, his words full of praise. I was officially a partner, top of the ladder. Clara stood by the door, clapping slowly, her eyes cold. Her whisper echoed in my mind, but I pushed it aside. Regret. Not tonight. The room buzzed with champagne toasts and congratulations. I was untouchable, or so I thought. A colleague mentioned Clara's odd behavior lately. I brushed it off, office gossip. But her words lingered like a shadow. I sipped my drink, the taste suddenly bitter. What did she know that I didn't? After the announcement, the office threw a lavish party. Crystal glasses clinked, and laughter filled the air. I was the star, everyone toasting my success. Clara moved through the crowd, serving drinks, her smile forced. I caught her staring at me, her eyes like daggers. "You'll regret this," she'd said. The phrase gnawed at me now. I pulled her aside, demanding an explanation. She just shook her head, lips sealed. The party continued, but my mood darkened. Had I overlooked something in my climb to the top? Deals I'd made, people I'd stepped over? Clara knew everything about my work. Too much, maybe. I watched her slip away into the crowd. Unease settled in my gut. Back at my office, I reviewed files late into the night. The partner title came with new responsibilities and risks. Clara's warning echoed louder now. I opened my laptop, checking emails for any hint of trouble. Nothing stood out, but doubt crept in. Had I signed something I shouldn't have? Trusted the wrong person? Clara had access to every contract, every deal. I thought of her meticulous notes, her quiet efficiency. What if she'd seen something I missed? I shook my head, dismissing the thought. She was just a secretary. But her words felt like a prophecy. I locked my office door, paranoia creeping in. Sleep felt impossible. The next morning, Clara was at her desk, calm as ever. I asked her directly about her warning. She looked at me, eyes steady, and said, "You'll see." No explanation, just that. I wanted to press her, but a client call interrupted. The day blurred with meetings, each one a reminder of my new status. Yet Clara's words hung over me like a storm cloud. I noticed small things, files misplaced, emails delayed. Was it her? Or was I imagining it? My colleagues congratulated me, but their smiles seemed strained. The higher you climb, the harder you fall, I thought. Clara's silence was deafening. I needed answers. By noon, rumors swirled about a major deal gone wrong. A client I'd secured was threatening to pull out. I scrambled to fix it, calling the client, reviewing contracts. Everything seemed in order, except Clara's notes. They were vague, missing key details. I confronted her, but she claimed it was an oversight. Her eyes told a different story. "You'll regret this." The phrase burned in my mind now. Had she sabotaged me? I dug through old files, searching for clues. Nothing concrete, but the timing felt off. The client meeting was rescheduled, but damage was done. My reputation wobbled. Clara watched me, unblinking. That evening, I stayed late again, combing through records. A pattern emerged, small errors in my deals, all tied to Clara's work. Had she been setting me up? I thought back to her years of loyalty. Why now? I found an email she'd forwarded to a rival firm, innocent on the surface, but suspicious. My stomach dropped. Was she leaking information? I confronted her the next day, but she denied everything. Her calm demeanor unnerved me. "You'll regret this," she'd said. I was starting to. The partner title felt like a trap now. I couldn't trust anyone, not even myself. The office walls seemed to close in. Days passed, and the cracks in my world widened. Another deal faltered, this time publicly. The board called me in, their faces grim. They questioned my judgment, my leadership. I defended myself, but Clara's shadow loomed. I'd trusted her with everything. My schedule, my files, my secrets. Now, I saw her differently. Was she the architect of my downfall? I hired a private investigator, desperate for proof. He found nothing concrete, but her connections to a rival firm raised red flags. I felt betrayed, but doubt lingered. What if I was wrong? Her warning echoed, louder each day. Regret was no longer a question, it was reality. The investigator's report came in, sparse but damning. Clara had met with a competitor's executive multiple times. No hard evidence of betrayal, but the implication was clear. I confronted her in the break room, my voice low but sharp. She didn't flinch, just stared back, her eyes like steel. "You'll regret this," she'd said, and now I did. Every deal I touched seemed cursed. Clients hesitated. Colleagues whispered. My partner status, so freshly won, felt like a noose. I demanded answers, but Clara only smiled faintly. "Check your files," she said. I rushed to my office, heart pounding. Something was wrong, very wrong. My files were a mess. Contracts I'd signed had clauses I didn't remember. Numbers didn't add up. I spent hours cross-referencing, sweat beading on my forehead. Clara's handwriting was on every questionable document. Had she altered them? I called my lawyer, my voice shaking. He advised caution. Accusing her without proof could backfire. But the evidence was mounting. A client emailed, furious about a deal's terms I'd never agreed to. My name was on it, though. Clara's doing? I couldn't prove it, but my gut screamed yes. Her warning wasn't a threat. It was a promise. I was unraveling. The board called another meeting. This time, they weren't smiling. My recent failures were laid bare, each one a blow. I tried to explain, pointing to discrepancies, but they saw excuses. My partner status was under review. I felt the ground shift beneath me. Clara sat in the corner, taking notes, her face blank. I wanted to scream at her, expose her, but I had no proof. After the meeting, she handed me a coffee, her fingers brushing mine. "Careful," she whispered. Not a warning this time, a taunt. I threw the coffee away, afraid of what she might have done. Paranoia consumed me. I started recording our interactions, desperate for evidence. Every word, every glance I analyzed. Clara was too smart, though. Her responses were vague, her actions impeccable. But I noticed her lingering near my desk, touching files when she thought I wasn't looking. I changed my passwords, locked my drawers. It didn't help. Another deal collapsed, this time with legal repercussions. The client sued, claiming fraud. My signature was on the contract, but I swore I'd never seen it. Clara's notes were attached, meticulous as always. I was drowning in her web. Regret was my only companion. I hired a forensic accountant to audit my deals. The findings were grim, discrepancies in every major contract I'd touched. Small changes easy to miss, but devastating in some. All linked to Clara's work. I confronted her again, this time with the accountant's report. She didn't deny it, just shrugged. "You wanted to be partner," she said. "This is the cost." Her words hit like a slap. Had she planned this from the start? I thought of every late night she'd stayed, every file she'd organized. Was it all a setup? I fired her on the spot. She left without a word, her smile chilling. Clara's departure didn't stop the bleeding. The lawsuit gained traction, and the board distanced themselves. My partner title was stripped pending investigation. I was a pariah now, my office a prison. I sifted through years of documents, searching for her fingerprints. I found them, subtle alterations, forged initials, rerouted emails. She'd been dismantling me for months, maybe years. Why? Jealousy? Revenge? I remembered a promotion she'd been passed over for, one I'd endorsed someone else for. Was that it? I called her, but her number was disconnected. She'd vanished, leaving me to burn. The investigator dug deeper, uncovering Clara's ties to a rival firm's CEO. They'd been close, too close. Emails suggested she'd been feeding them information for years. My deals, my strategies, all compromised. I presented this to the board, hoping to salvage my career. They listened but weren't convinced. My signature was still on those contracts. I was liable, partner or not. The lawsuit loomed larger, threatening bankruptcy. Clara's whisper haunted me. "You'll regret this." She'd known. She'd planned it all. I was a pawn in her game, and she'd won. I had nothing left but regret. Late at night, I found a hidden file on my computer. It was Clara's, notes detailing every move she'd made. She'd documented my deals, my mistakes, and her alterations. It was a confession, but unsigned, inadmissible. Still, it was proof I wasn't crazy. I sent it to the investigator, begging him to find her. He tracked her to a new city, working for the rival firm. Of course. She'd climbed the ladder I'd fallen from. I wanted justice, but the law was slow, and my resources were drained. The office was quiet now, my colleagues avoiding me. I was a ghost in my own life. The lawsuit hit, and the media pounced. Headlines screamed my name, painting me as a fraud. I hired the best lawyer I could afford, but the evidence was stacked against me. Clara's handiwork was flawless, every forged document airtight. I tried to fight, presenting her hidden file, but it was dismissed as hearsay. The board cut ties completely, leaving me to face the fallout alone. My savings dwindled. My reputation was ashes. I saw Clara's face in every shadow, her whisper in every silence. Regret wasn't just a feeling, it was my existence. I'd been so close to the top, only to fall so far. Months later, I sat in a small apartment, far from the glass towers of my past. The lawsuit was settled, but it cost me everything. I was no longer a partner, no longer anything. I Googled Clara out of habit. She was thriving, a rising star at the rival firm. No one questioned her past, her role in my ruin. I wanted to confront her, to demand why. But what would it change? She'd warned me, and I hadn't listened. You'll regret this. She was right. I closed my laptop, the screen's glow fading. The city hummed outside, indifferent to my fall. I was alone with my regret. A year later, I got a break. A former client, loyal despite the scandal, hired me for a major project. It was a chance to prove myself. I worked tirelessly, double-checking every detail. No room for error this time. I thought of Clara less, but her shadow lingered. Late one night, I found an article about her. She'd been promoted again. The photo showed her smiling, confident, untouchable. Rage flared, but I pushed it down. I couldn't let her define me anymore. I focused on the project, pouring everything into it. It was a success, my first win in years. A spark of hope flickered. Maybe I could rise again. The project's success brought more work, slowly rebuilding my name. I moved to a better apartment, started networking again. But Clara's betrayal was a scar I couldn't erase. I hired a new investigator, determined to expose her. He found more, bank transfers linking her to the rival firm's CEO before my fall. It wasn't enough for court, but it was something. I leaked it to a journalist, hoping to stir trouble. The article came out, subtle but pointed. Clara's name was mentioned, her past questioned. It wasn't justice, but it was a start. I felt a flicker of satisfaction. Regret was still there, but so was resolve. The journalist kept digging, and Clara's shine began to fade. Whispers about her ethics spread in the industry. I watched from the sidelines, my own career gaining traction. A former colleague reached out, apologizing for doubting me. He'd seen Clara's true colors, he said. She'd tried to undermine him too. I wasn't surprised. Her ambition was a blade, cutting anyone in her path. I shared my evidence with him, building a quiet coalition. We weren't ready to strike, but we were watching. Clara's empire was cracking, just as mine had. I wondered if she ever thought of me, if she regretted anything. Probably not. My consulting firm grew, small but steady. I was careful now, trusting no one completely. Clara's lesson was brutal but effective. I avoided the spotlight, focusing on quality work. Clients started to forget the scandal, drawn to my results. I heard Clara had left the rival firm under pressure. No details, just rumors. I didn't celebrate, but I felt lighter. The journalist called, asking for more on Clara. I hesitated. She'd ruined me, but I wasn't her. I gave him what I had, keeping my name out of it. Justice wasn't revenge. It was balance. I was finding mine, slowly. 2 years after my fall, I got an unexpected call. It was Clara. Her voice was calm, but strained. "You're persistent," she said. I didn't respond, letting her talk. She admitted nothing, but her tone hinted at cracks. She'd lost her job, her network. The industry was turning on her. I felt no pity, only closure. You warned me I'd regret it, I said.
Did you?
She hung up. I stared at the phone, her whisper finally silent. My firm was thriving now, small but respected. I wasn't a partner anymore, but I was something better. Free. Regret had shaped me, but it no longer owned me. The journalist's exposé hit, detailing Clara's schemes across multiple firms. My name was mentioned, but as a victim, not a villain. The article cleared the last stains from my reputation. Clients called, offering bigger projects. I hired a small team, careful to build trust. Clara's name faded from the headlines, her career in ruins. I didn't gloat, it wasn't my style. But I felt justice, quiet and steady. Her warning had been a curse, but I'd broken it. I worked late, not out of fear, but passion. The city outside my window was alive, and so was I. Regret was a memory, not a chain. My firm landed a major contract, one I'd have killed for in my partner days. It was clean, no shadows, no Clara. I celebrated with my team, their loyalty a stark contrast to her betrayal. I thought of her less now, her face blurring in my mind. The investigator sent a final report. She'd moved abroad, starting over. I wished her no harm, but no success either. I'd rebuilt my life on my terms, not hers. The office hummed with purpose, my team a family I'd never had before. I looked at the contract, my signature clear and true. No regrets this time. I'd earned this. Years later, I spoke at a conference, my story a cautionary tale. The audience listened, rapt, as I described my fall and rise. I didn't mention Clara by name, she didn't deserve it. But I spoke of trust, ambition, and the cost of blindness. The applause was warm, genuine. I was no longer the man who'd chased a partner title. I was better, wiser, grounded. My firm was thriving, my team loyal. The city sparkled below the conference hall, a reminder of what I'd survived. Regret had been my teacher, not my master. I was whole again, scars and all. That night, I walked through the city, the skyline a map of my journey. I'd lost everything once, but I'd gained more. My phone buzzed, a new client, eager to work with me. I smiled, thinking of Clara's warning. You'll regret this. She was wrong. Regret had been my crucible, forging something stronger. I wasn't a partner, but I was a leader. My firm was mine, built on truth, not ambition. The stars above were bright, the city alive. I walked on, no shadows behind me. The future was mine to shape, and I would shape it well. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of triumph and redemption.